Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Today I'm going to be sharing how I got this look. I used a couple of my staple products, a few newer products. I really wanted to use the Natasha Denona Glam palette and the Natasha Denona Retro palette together, so that's how I got the look that I'm wearing today. I think they are both such beautiful, cool toned palettes, so I definitely wanted to do something a little cooler toned. I also want to say thank you to SheGlam for sponsoring today's video. I did use their new Insta-Ready Face and Under Eye Setting Powder Duo. It is so good. I've been testing this out and I love it. So I'll be using this in today's video. You'll see it in action in just a few minutes. But I hope you guys enjoy today's video. Let's jump into it and I'll show you guys how I got this look. I'm going to start with the e.l.f. Jelly Pop Dew Primer. This has been out for a little while, but it is new to me. I recently got it because so many of you guys were recommending it to me and I've really been enjoying it. This has a slightly tacky base to it, so I feel like it locks your makeup into place really well, but it also has a little bit of a hydrating feel. So it's a nice way to just kind of prep your skin for foundation. When you press your fingers to it, you can see like it's kind of sticking. So it does have a little bit of tackiness to it, and it has a watermelon scent as well. Next, I'm going to go in with the Kosas concealer in the shade 05. I've been using this to spot conceal. So anywhere where I deal with a little bit of redness, or if I have like scarring from a breakout, I'll just apply a little bit of this product, and then I just use a brush and lightly blend it in. So I will list all of the brushes that I'm using in the description box below. So originally I had the shade 03, which was a little bit light for me, so I got the shade 05, which is slightly too dark for me. I feel like I need a shade right in the middle. This works because honestly, when I apply foundation on top, you can't really tell that it's too dark. And I feel like because it is more of a yellow tone, it does kind of correct some of those purpley areas if I'm dealing with a scar from a breakout. But I think the shades that fell in the middle were like the wrong undertone. I need to look online because I did purchase this in person and they might not have had all of them. I am going to go in with a little bit more of a full coverage foundation, so I don't know that I really needed to spot conceal. I haven't worn this foundation in a little while, but it is one of my favorites, so I thought I would use it just to switch it up because I'm trying to do more get ready with me's on my channel, and I don't always want to use like the same exact products every time. So I thought I would use another one of my favorites in today's video for foundation. So I'm going to be using the Catrice HD Liquid Coverage Foundation, and I have the shade Light Beige. You know what, I think this might be a little bit too light for me just because I do have just a little bit of self-tanner left from when I applied it last week. So I don't know that it will match exactly. I think I'll actually mix in just a little bit of the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Foundation. I have the shade Light 70W. Typically I wear Light 45W, but I bought this just to mix with my other one when I do have a little bit of a tan. So I'm mainly going to go in with the Catrice foundation and then just add like a tiny small amount of the ColourPop foundation just to even out the color. These are both super thin, lightweight foundations, so I like them because they just glide on really easily and they stay in place well on the skin. When you wear either one of these foundations, it doesn't feel like you're wearing a ton of foundation, which I like, but it does even out the skin tone, and like I said, they do stay in place well. They look a little bit more skin-like for foundations that have pretty good coverage. The ColourPop foundation is definitely more of like a medium coverage foundation, but the Catrice one is more of a full coverage foundation. It just doesn't feel like that or even look like that on the skin. It looks really lightweight. So I'm just working in sections and applying this product to even out my skin. A lot of you guys have been asking for like a light coverage look, and to be honest with you, I don't wear a lot of light coverage base products. Typically I'll wear more of like a medium to full coverage base, or I'll just skip makeup altogether. But there is a foundation that I've been loving. The Essence Pretty Natural foundation looks so nice on the skin, and that one's a little bit more light coverage. So I think for my next Get Ready With Me, I might do like a quick 10-minute makeup look using that and just a couple of products when I'm in a hurry and I want to run out the door but still wear a little bit of makeup. I've been trying to do Get Ready With Me's a little bit more often and just videos where I'm actually applying the products on camera so you can see how they look and wear. I'm actually going to be testing out a new concealer today. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Magic Touch Concealer. So I have the shade 4. I think this is a little bit more of a neutral shade, but I feel like that will work because my foundation does look a little bit yellow. So this one just sounded nice. When I was reading the description in a purchase or pass video, I told myself I wanted to try it. It's been a while since I've tried a new concealer and really even a new foundation. I don't branch out a ton when it comes to concealer and foundation. So that is an area that I would like to try a little bit more. I think it's just fun to try different products, and you never know when you're going to discover your new favorite. So I'm just going to take this. I don't know how much coverage this has. and I'm just going to apply it here, and then a little bit between my brows, a little on my chin, and then I've actually been applying a little bit right here. I feel like my foundation has been wearing off in that area a little bit faster than normal. I'm actually going to take this brush and blend it out. I think this brush is meant to be an eyeshadow brush. It's from Alamar Cosmetics, but I love it as a concealer brush because you can get right up in this area, and I always like to blend concealer up there. So I think this shade might be a little bit light. It'll work. I feel like I'd rather go just a little bit lighter with concealer than a little bit too dark because it does kind of give you that brightening aspect. It's blending out really nicely. I would say the coverage isn't too intense. Wow, it looks really smooth on the skin, which I appreciate. Like I said, I've been dealing with some texture up here. I don't know, like my foundation just doesn't sit nicely on my forehead in this area anymore. I feel like it's just as I get older, sometimes certain areas of my skin just don't take makeup as nicely. I don't know if you guys have the same issue. Like my skin type hasn't changed a lot. I know some people say their skin type will completely change. Like they might have dry skin and then all of a sudden it's oily, or the other way around. My skin is still really oily, but there are certain areas that almost act like they're dry. Like for instance, I'll try to blend eyeshadow in this area and it will look a little bit patchy, or like up here, sometimes it looks dry even though I know it's not. Honestly, who knows what's going on. I just applied a little bit more right here. I just want to see how this product builds and layers on itself because it seems to blend right into the skin, which is nice. The coverage is not over the top by any means. I don't really struggle with dark under eye circles, but I do deal with a lot of redness around my eyes, and concealer tends to break down on me in this area because my skin is so oily. That looks really good. It looks super smooth on the skin. So we'll see how it holds up throughout the day. So like I said in the beginning, I am going to be using the SheGlam Insta-Ready Face and Under Eye Setting Powder Duo. I've really been loving this because there are two different powders. It's such a great deal because it's $6.50, but you get two separate powders. And I've always used two different powders for under my eyes and the rest of my face. I feel like they are very different areas. For me, under the eyes, I need something that is going to lock my concealer into place, but also look very smooth. I deal with a lot of fine lines under my eyes. I have since I was younger. It's definitely a hereditary feature that I received, but on top of that, as I get older, obviously they're going to be more pronounced. And a lot of powders can look really heavy and cakey under the eyes. The reason why I like this one is because it is so soft and finely milled. It definitely has like a brightening property to it, but it just feels soft and silky. So it blends out perfectly under your eyes. It sets your concealer into place really well. And I actually have like a pretty prominent wrinkle between my brows, and I set that with this powder as well, and it doesn't crease all day. When it comes to the rest of my face, I definitely like a good loose powder that keeps my skin matte and locks my foundation into place, and this one works so well. This comes in 6 different shades, so I do have the translucent one, but today I'm actually going to be using this one, Bisque. This has been my go-to. I really love the packaging on this product. I like how they come together, but you can twist off the top, and then you have access to the loose powder underneath, and this has the perfect sifter because it actually closes. That way your loose powder isn't just floating around everywhere making such a mess. That is one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to makeup packaging, so I really appreciate the fact that you can lock it closed and it's not going to spill everywhere. I'm going to be using the SheGlam Insta-Ready Powder Sponge. It's so cute. It looks like a little peach, and I love the shape of it because this side is so perfect for right under the eyes. It kind of has like a little bit of like a soft velvety texture, so it's actually made for powder, and I find that it applies the powder under the eyes so perfectly. So I'm actually going to use it dry, and I'm just going to press it into the powder. Then I'm just going to press it directly under my eye and up into this center area as well, just to provide that brightening aspect. I also like to take it right down along the side of the nose because I tend to get so oily right there, and this has like a nice smoothing property to it. I mean, you can see the difference between the two sides instantly. This is the side that has the powder on it. This is the side that doesn't. I mean, the concealer is creasing a little bit, but you can see how it just instantly smooths out that area. So if you deal with a lot of texture like I do, you are going to love this powder. Like I said, I will take it in this area as well because for me, I have a really prominent wrinkle right here. So I love this because it's just going to smooth over that area and it stays all day. Like I said, you can see a big difference between this side and this side. I'm going to apply it on this side as well. Let me just smooth out this concealer. This concealer is creasing a little bit. Usually I set my concealer immediately. So I've been talking a little bit here. Again, I'm just going to pat this on and then bring it up for that brightening aspect, and then also down around my nose. For some reason, I get really oily right in this area. I mean, I get oily everywhere. So that's what it looks like after I apply the powder. So I like to use this sponge dry for under the eyes. I feel like it just distributes the powder perfectly. It gives you that very smooth look, but I always use my sponge slightly damp for the rest of my face when it comes to setting powder, because I feel like it just presses the powder into my skin really well and makes it look a little bit more natural. So I'm going to go in with the loose powder now. And like I said, I wear the shade Bisque. So I literally just dump it into the cap and I place it on the sponge. I like to use like the bigger side of the sponge for the rest of my face. And then I just gently press it into the skin to lock my foundation into place. And you guys will see it gives such a beautiful matte finish. I love mattifying powders. I have extremely oily skin. So for me, I always like to start my makeup routine off with like a super matte base, because throughout the day, my skin gets oily on its own. But you guys, this powder keeps my skin so matte and it looks so smooth. Like you can tell I'm wearing it on this side and not on this side yet. And it just gives everything like a soft blurred finish. A lot of powders look so powdery on the skin, but this one looks smooth. I love it. I deal with a lot of texture issues, especially around my cheeks, and you can just see the difference. So this is the difference between the two sides of my face. This side has powder on it, this side doesn't. And as you can see, it just gives my skin like a smooth blurred finish. Now I do still have texture on my skin because like I said, I don't use a filter on my videos ever, and this is real skin. You're going to see some texture, but it does allow it to kind of glide over those areas. And it's especially nice when you put makeup on top, because bronzer, blush, highlighter, it's not going to cling to those textured areas and enhance them like it might if I didn't set my face or I used a different powder. I'm going to do a wear test for you guys and check in with you at the end of the night. I have a couple of things to do today. I mean, I need to edit some videos, I need to run a few errands, and then my husband and I are going out on a date night just to go to dinner. So I will wear this all day so you can see how it wears. So that is how my makeup looks before I go in with anything else. I think it looks so smooth, so mattified. I love the way that it makes my skin look, and it wears really well throughout the day. But if you guys are interested in checking this out, I actually have a 15% off coupon. I'll put that in the description box below for you guys and on the screen. But if you want to try this, you can just search Insta-Ready Face Duo on the Shein website or the app and it will pop up too. So let's move on to the brows and the eyes. I'll kind of do them at the same time. I did get 2 new brow gels in the mail, and I'm not sure which one to test. I think I'll actually test them out side by side and see how they work. So the first one is from Persona Cosmetics. This is the Swipe Up Brow Gel, and I have the shade Brown. So I like the wand on this one. It's a little bit more of a tapered wand. So you guys know that I love my e.l.f. brow gel. That one is like $4. I'm just kind of nervous to go in with this because I don't know how pigmented it's going to be. But I'm definitely curious to see what else is out there. So I don't know that this one has a ton of fibers in it. It's definitely a pigmented brow gel, which I like. I feel like this shade works well for me. I know they have a deeper shade too, but this one's pretty dark. So what I like to do is apply brow gel and then let it dry and then go in and fill in my brows. But that makes such a difference. That is a pigmented brow gel. I also feel like that's going to lock my brows into place because as I was applying it, it just had that texture. Like it was a wet brow gel, but it also felt like once it dries, or once it does dry, it's not going to move. So we'll see about that one. On the left side, I'm going to be wearing the Too Faced Brow Wig, which is an interesting name. This is the Brush On Hair Fluffy Brow Gel. So I know that this one has a lot of fibers in it because when you look at the wand, I'll do a close-up shot for you, you can see fibers on it. That is the type of brow gel that I typically like because I do have very sparse brows. I don't know if this is going to be the same color. Let's see. Actually, this one's medium brown, so I have a feeling it's going to be a little bit lighter and maybe slightly more red toned. So I might have 2 different colored brows today, but I really want to test them both out. I'm not loving this one. First of all, I feel like this is too red for me. Second of all, I feel like the fibers aren't actually transferring to the brow. I also feel like the brush is maybe a little bit too big. Like, did you see how effortlessly this one went on? And then this one just looks like I took a marker and tried to like color in my brow. So I think I might remove this. I might try this again on a day where I'm not going anywhere. All right, I didn't take it off fully because I don't want to really mess up my foundation underneath, but I took off a good amount of it, and now I'm just going to go back in with the Persona Cosmetics one on top, and then I feel like they'll come together. Like, yeah, this looks, oops, I applied too much, but it does look better. You just have to be careful with this one because this one has a lot of pigment. So if you have really sparse brows like I do, you're not going to want to go in with too much. You're just going to have to be a little bit more careful. That looks so much better. Okay, I know the shape is a little bit off. I am going to go in and fix them once the brow gel dries. I do my brows in a weird order. What takes so much time when it comes to the brows, at least for me, is just filling them in with a pencil. So if there's anything I can do to kind of cut down on that time, I will do it. And using a pigmented or even like a fiber brow gel makes a difference, but I don't know about that Too Faced one. So anyway, for today's eye look, I'm actually going to be using 2 eyeshadow palettes. So right now I'm using the Natasha Denona Glam. I'm just taking a light shade and placing that all over the eyes. I didn't actually even go in with eyeshadow primer today. So I really wanted to use the Glam palette, also the Retro palette. I just thought these 2 color stories would look so good together, and I'm not sure exactly what type of look I'm going to do. I just knew that I wanted to use them together. I want a little bit of a pink look, but I don't want it to be too over the top because I think I'm going to go in with a little bit more of a dramatic lip. So I want it to be cool toned, have like a little bit of a pink hint, but nothing too over the top. I'm just going to start with this lighter brown and blend this into the crease. I really don't know what type of look I'm going for other than a cool toned look because I know that both of these are cooler toned eyeshadow palettes. I don't know, I just think they're both really beautiful. I do love warm tones, but I feel like when fall hits, I just switch to cool tones, whether I'm wearing neutrals or something a little bit more vibrant. And then to save time, I'm just going to do the other eye off camera. Next, I'm going to go into the Retro palette, and I'm actually going to take the shade Nude Mauve, which is a little bit more of a pinky tone, and I'm just going to blend that up into, well, as a transition as well. Yeah, that is definitely, it's funny because looking at it in the pan, it doesn't look super pink, but then when you place it on the eyes, it definitely has like a pink undertone to it. I don't think I want to go super pink today, so I'm actually going to blend like a smokier shadow into the outer corner. This is from the Glam palette, and again, I'm not sure exactly how dramatic I want to go, but I'll just start with this one. I'm just adding it into the outer corner for some depth and then lightly up into the crease just to make sure everything looks really blended. And then I'm just going to do the same thing on the other eye as well. I'm just switching to a slightly fluffier brush to blend it out in the crease. Do you guys tend to switch back and forth between cooler tones and warm tones, or do you feel like one looks better on you? I know some people really like the way that cool tones look on them. Some people really like the way that warm tones look on them. I do find myself switching back and forth. I tend to just switch up my makeup seasonally. So during the winter, I love cooler tones and smoky shades and berries and jewel tones. And then during the spring, I love pastels. And then during the summer, I love gold shades and warm shades. So for me, it's not, I guess, not necessarily about what looks best on me, just what I'm feeling that time of the year. For the lid, I think I'm going to go in with this shade Helio, which is so pretty. It has like a hint of pink, but it's also like a cooler toned, well, I don't know. I always want to describe it as like a cooler toned taupey shade, but it definitely has like a good hint of pink. Actually, I might layer a more silvery toned color on top just to kind of tone it down a little bit. But I do think it looks really pretty with these smokier cool tones. So I'm actually going to go back into the Glam palette and take this shade, which they say is like, well, they say it's inner corner because the labels are a little bit different in the Glam palette, and I'm just going to place that on top. It's a little bit more of a silvery color. I feel like it will just kind of tone down the pink and then intensify the shimmer a little bit. I think that looks pretty, so I'm just going to go in and just lightly blend out the edges before I apply eyeliner. I applied the liquid liner and then just cleaned up right in this area because when I blend, sometimes I just bring it in a little bit too much. So let me apply some shadow on the lower lash line. Then I'll do the brows, then mascara. I'm going to keep it pretty simple on the lower lash line. I'm just going to take, actually the shadow called Lash Line in the Glam palette, and I'm just going to blend this under my eye. And I'm just going to start off a little bit more subtly so it's not too intense, and then I'll build it. This is like a nice light smoky shadow. It's not too over the top, but you can build it up to look a little bit more intense. So I'm just going to blend that. On my waterline, I'm just going to take the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil in the shade Hustle, which is kind of like a smokier brown, and I'm just going to, is that too warm? I feel like it's a little bit warm for this look. I'm just going to speed through my brows. So I'm just going to be using the Urban Decay Brow Blade. I'm going to start with the pencil side and just lightly define under my brows. I actually feel like I need a little bit of a spoolie. Okay, so this brow gel dries down. Like there's really not a lot of flexibility, which is not what I typically prefer. I usually prefer a little bit more movement, but like I suspected, if you want a brow gel that locks your brows into place, this is going to be the one for you. I'm just going to flip it over and take the ink stain side and just lightly run this through my brows too. They're pretty defined from the brow gel as it is, but I'll just take a little bit more because I do have more of a smoky eye going on, so I feel like I can get away with a pretty bold brow. I think that looks good. I feel like maybe they're a little bit uneven, but I'm just gonna go with it. So I'm just using the lightest shade from the Glam palette. I kind of want something a little bit brighter, so I'm going to be using the shade Mod from the Retro palette, which is like a light pinky white, and I feel like that brightens it up just a little bit more. So I'm going to apply mascara. This is the Essence Lash Princess mascara. I think I am going to go in with lashes, nothing too intense. I might just use the Ardell Demi Wispies just to add a little bit of drama, but this mascara takes a while to dry down. So let me apply this and then let it dry down. You know what? I don't think I'm actually going to apply false lashes. I feel like this mascara just does such a good job on its own. I've been raving about it a lot, but I do like it because it builds really well. So if you're really sparse lashes and short lashes like I do, this is nice because I think it gives you the appearance of having more lashes than you do. It really is such a good option. So I just applied a little bit of concealer to that freckle on my nose like I always do and just went over it with a little bit of powder. Now let me do the rest of my face. For the face, I'm actually going to be testing out this new palette. This is the Cali Queen Face Palette. This is a brand that's new at Ulta. I actually haven't tried this yet. So it comes with a bronzer, 2 blushes, and a highlighter. So I'm just going to apply bronzer to my cheek first, and then also on my forehead as well. I don't want to apply too much because I don't want a super warm look on the cheeks since I have such a cool toned look going on the eyes. It's nice. It definitely has like a smooth, even feel. And like I told you guys, everything goes on top of this powder so nicely too. But I think that's good. I do have a tendency to go overboard with bronzer. I think I'm going to stop there, but that looks really pretty. It is. I think it's a matte bronzer, but it blends really well. For blush, I'm going to take the cooler toned, like light shimmery one. Again, I've never used this, so I don't know how pigmented this is. I'm just going to go in with a light hand. This is pretty. It's very soft. It definitely has a glow to it. So I think you could probably even use this as a highlighter if you want. Oh, that looks really pretty on the skin. It definitely has like a very beautiful luminosity to it. So you could probably use that as a highlighter too, but I do love a good glowy blush. And then for highlight, I'm just going to take the lightest shade and blend that on the cheeks. It's definitely a more subtle highlight, which I feel like I could probably go either way with this look. Maybe something a little bit more intense or something a little bit more subtle. I don't want the focus to be on my cheeks really because I am going to, well, I think I'm going to apply a little bit more of a dramatic lip color too. That looks pretty. It's just a little bit more soft and natural. I am just going to take a little bit of that highlight right in the inner corner. Oh yeah, I mean, you could definitely build it up. It looks more intense in my inner corner than it does on my cheeks. For the lips, I was originally going to go with one of these, but I don't know if these colors really go with my eye look anymore. You know what? I'm just going to go with it because I do want to test this formula. This is the ColourPop Fresh Kiss Lip Cream. I think it's supposed to be more of like a moussey lipstick. I'm not even going to line my lips. I might regret this. I'm just curious about the formula. You know what? I don't think this color goes. I'm going to go with this one. This one is the color Bee Spice. It's more of a nude. I really did want to go dramatic on the lips today, but I don't think any of the colors will really go with this eye look. I don't know if this is going to last all day long. Here, let me just, oh, this is too pink. I thought this was going to be a little bit more nude, but it's really pink. I don't feel like any of those colors go. I'm going to have to test those out on a different day. I'm just going to take the Bite Beauty lip crayon in the shade Cava, and yeah, it's like a lighter, well, it's a cooler toned like lavender pink. I kind of feel like maybe that's too much. I don't know. I'm having a hard time today. I'm just going to apply the Fenty Gloss Bomb in Hot Chocolate on top just to kind of tone down the pinky purpleness. I'm gonna go with it. I feel like the cool tones go together. Okay, I think I'll just stick with this lip color because honestly, I could switch my lip color like 10 different times and never be completely happy. I always end up just throwing on a lip liner and the Fenty Hot Chocolate Gloss Bomb whenever I'm wearing a cool toned look because I feel like this goes with everything. So this pinky purple shade is a little bit more out of my comfort zone, but I feel like it works. So this is the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll actually check back in with you in a few hours and show you how everything's holding up. Hey guys, so it is currently 6:30. We decided just to go get our favorite takeout and then go to the park because it ended up being a pretty nice day. It's a little bit colder today. It feels like fall. So we're going to enjoy the park as much as we can before winter comes. But anyway, here's how my makeup looks. I haven't even really looked at it. Let me look in the mirror. I just looked in the mirror. I think it looks good. I actually haven't even blotted my face today, which is kind of surprising for me. I have like a little bit of a glow going on. That highlighter looks really nice in person, but this powder does keep my skin matte really, really well because normally by now it's 6:30. I did my makeup around noon. I would definitely have to blot my skin, but I haven't. I probably will before my next check-in just because I'm planning on editing like all night and I'll probably do my final check-in around 11:30, but my makeup is holding up really well. I took the lipstick off. I'm just wearing lip gloss, but here's how everything looks so far. So I'll check in with you guys in a few hours. Okay, you guys, it is the end of the night. It is currently 11:05 p.m. I am ready to go to bed, but first I wanted to do one last check-in for you. So here's how my makeup looks. I have had it on all day for 11 hours, and I think it looks really good. For me, within like a few hours, my skin starts to get oily. I only blotted my skin once, and I didn't touch it up at all with powder throughout the day, which is what I normally do. But I wanted to show you guys what it looks like without any touch-ups throughout the day. Honestly, all of the products stayed in place really well. I did take off my lipstick because that wasn't like a super long wearing formula. So before we went to dinner, I did take that off. But I'm just going to take an oil blotting sheet and just blot my skin. And I am going to touch up to show you guys what it would look like if I took the time to touch it up. My skin is actually not super, super oily for it being so late in the day. Normally by now it would be. Like I was saying earlier, I like this powder as a touch-up powder. So for me, what I would typically do when I'm not doing a wear test is I would blot my skin maybe halfway through the day and then just lightly apply a little bit of this powder. And then just like that, my skin is mattified again. Now it's been 11 hours. If I did that at like the 5 or 6 hour mark, it would obviously extend the wear of my foundation. But honestly, I think my makeup looks really good for it being over 11 hours. So like I said, I didn't do that throughout the day. I just wanted to show you guys what you could do in case you were interested in knowing how I use this powder as a touch-up powder too. But the cheek product stayed in place really well. The eyeshadow stayed in place. I thought there was a little bit of patchiness going on when I checked on it earlier because I didn't wear an eyeshadow primer, but there's no creasing. The mascara didn't smudge or run. The eyebrows did not move. Like these are locked into place. They are not going anywhere. So anyway, I thought I would just show you guys how my makeup held up throughout the day. So I hope this wear test was helpful for you. I will link everything that I talked about in the description box below, along with the SheGlam Insta-Ready Face and Under Eye Setting Powder Duo. I think you guys will love this if you try it out. It locks your makeup into place so, so well, and it just kind of smooths over the skin, especially if you're dealing with a lot of texture like me, or you'll find lines under your eyes. But thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch. I really appreciate it. I'll see you guys very soon with a new video. Bye.